Chapter 14. At 9 o'clock the next morning, Ada and Iggy showed up at Rosie's. They loaded the wagon and covered it with a sheet. Then they headed to the Blue River Creek Library. A dozen canvases surrounded the parking lot. Rosie found Aunt Rose, Boss, Marion, and the McAllister sisters in the corner. "Rosie!" they cheered. "Ada! Iggy!" Just then, Bernice arrived with a woman in a big floppy hat with casts on her wrist. It had to be June. So there's pictures of valves, how valves work. "Okay," said Bernice, "we're here." She took off June's hat. "Surprise!" yells the Riveters. June looked from face to face in shock. "What? Why?" she started. "What's going?" "It's art to go time," said Boss. June was shocked. "But I have casts," she said, raising her arms. "The Riveters wanted to surprise you," said Rosie. "So, ta-da!" Ada and Iggy pulled off the sheet from the wagon. June looked baffled. "It's the Paint-A-Palooza 9, said Rosie proudly. "It took a few tries, but I think we finally did it." June looked even more baffled, and she tried to hide it. "Well, thank you, dear," she said. "I always wanted one." "What is it?" she whispered to Aunt Rose. Boss shook her head. "Oh, you goofball," she said. "The kids created an invention for you, so you can paint with your arms instead of your hands." Tears welled up in June's eyes. She said softly, then stopped. A tear rolled down her cheek. "Oh, you Riveters," she said. "You are the best. And you three," she said to Rosie and her friends, "I don't even know what." Her voice trailed off as she choked back tears. Boss cleared her throat loudly. "Enough of that mushy stuff," she said with a sniffle. "You know I'm allergic to crying. It makes my eyes water." June and the Riveters burst into laughter. Then suddenly, squeak! A sharp squeal blasted over the loudspeaker. "Attention!" said the librarian. "Are you ready for art to go-go?" "Go, go!" yelled the crowd cheered. June dried her eyes with the sleeve and smiled. "Yes, I am," she said. She smiled at Rosie, Ada, and Iggy. "Thanks to you," she said. The librarian announced, "This year's theme for the Art to Go-Go competition is home." He blew the whistle again, and it was time to go-go. Chapter 15. The picture says, "I heart cheese." I wonder what's going to happen. Rosie set up the Paint-A-Palooza and helped June into the gloves. "Are they okay?" asked Rosie. "They're weird, but okay," said June. "I'm ready to paint." June stood in front of the blank canvas. "This is the exciting part," she said. "I love brainstorming." "Me too," said Rosie. June stepped onto the foot pump. Rosie, Ada, and Iggy watched nervously. The Raucous Riveters held their breath. Pump, pump, pump. Nothing happened. Pump, pump, pump. Nothing. Pump, pump. Rosie's heart sank. Pump. Suddenly, paint snaked through the tubes, and the Paint-A-Palooza worked. The Riveters cheered and clapped. June gently tapped the red button with her shoe. A glop of red paint squirted onto the red brush. She made a smooth, even stroke on the canvas. June pushed the blue button, and a glob of blue paint squeezed onto the blue brush. She dabbed it on the canvas and began to paint. The Paint-A-Palooza was working beautifully, and June was smiling. Then she wasn't. Chapter 16. It says, "The only true failure can come if you quit." Aunt Rose. "Ouch!" she cried. "What happened?" asked Rosie. "My arm is sore," said June. She reached up again. "Ow!" she said. "Maybe I should rest." She tried again a few minutes later. "Oh dear," she said. "My arms are too weak." Rosie's heart sank. June smiled kindly at her. "Rosie," she said, "I want you to finish the painting." Rosie shook her head. If anyone but June painted, she would want. Blah, blah, blah. If anyone but June painted, she would be out of the contest. "Rosie," said June softly, "I want you to paint, truly." Rosie looked at June's face and knew that she meant it. "I'm sorry it was too heavy," said Rosie. "The paint-a-palooza was perfect," said June. "I will use it to paint my kitchen when my arms are stronger." She laughed out loud, and Rosie smiled. Rosie tightened her headscarf. She picked up the glove, and boom! An idea hit Rosie's brain like thunder. And what an idea! She took off the pink glove and handed it to Aunt Rose. "Don't let anyone touch that canvas," said Rosie. "I'll be back." And with that, Rosie ran down the street and was gone.